everyone, and welcome back to Minecraft Dinosaurs. I know it's been a bit since our last episode, but I figured after a year of playing in this world, I was overdue for a little bit of a break to come up with some fresh new ideas, and I have. I have tons of new inspo for new projects and inspo for our current projects to get to work later in this video. But before we get into the video, we need to talk about art, because in our last episode, to celebrate the fact that we've been playing for over a year, I hosted a art competition over on the Discord, which if you're not a part of, definitely consider joining. But we have our winners put into the world this amazing Lego Stego by Evil Banana, as well as this beautiful, beautiful landscape done by Lollipop, and this amazing cowboy riding a para done by Forrest, and finally this amazing GIF done by Oddball. Sadly, I can't put it into the world because it is like a GIF and it moves around, and I can't actively put that into the painting mod. But these three winners, as well as that GIF, won the art competition and got all of their rewards, and I just want to say a big, massive thank you for them for participating and making some cool art. I always love when people make art for the world, and I'm so happy that I'm able to put it into the world for everyone to see when they eventually get the world downloads. But if we come through here, I also have my two first fan arts ever, this amazing art of my character done by Mousy Bones, and this art of me from one of my live streams done by Aces. This is just some amazing art that people have made as well. Through here, we have been working on making a little office space, and I have put up here the amazing work done by Lord Breno. I think he took a suggestion from one of my live streams to put Teddy Roosevelt on a Velociraptor and has kind of run with it with the historic photos with Ulysses Grant on a Triceratops, and then I asked him for John Hammond with the face of a penguin, which is so funny, and it's so well done. So thank you to him and everyone else who has made art for the channel. I could not be any more appreciative. It's all so cool. And I want to say, if you ever do consider making art, by no means, no pressure. There are tons of spots throughout the info center where I can put your art into the world as just a little thank you for taking the time to make some art for the channel. But as well, between episodes, I have been down here kind of carving out some different like pathways to go. We've got a blocked off way that I'm going to take to a future project, as well as two blocked off ways for an archaeology lab and a paleontology lab that I will be building in a future episode. But we also have this kind of little hallway that I have decided to put a ton of signs, and these are all of the members that have been on the channel. So a massive thank you to everyone that's chosen to support me like this. I just wanted to do another little thing to give you like a little shout out. So all of the names will be on these signs throughout the series, and we'll probably have to expand at some point, but these will be here for forever. So if ever anyone gets a world download or anything, their names will be here for you. So just big thank you to all my members and everyone who chose to make art throughout this series and throughout my channel's history. A big, massive thank you. I can't say it enough. Thank you guys for all the support. It means so much. But with all that said, let's get over to what we're working on in today's episode. And we're starting with the very first actual dinosaur enclosure we built in this world over a year ago now, the Pachyrhinosaurus. Now, if you can't already tell, this enclosure has been here since practically like day 3, and it's kind of showing its age just a little bit. I think, honestly, I'm kind of trying to phase out all of these type paths on the interior of enclosures because we use them on the outside, and I think on the inside, they just look a little bit weird, like people have been walking here, and that's not exactly what we're going for. I want these to feel far more forested, far more natural. I also want to go back over and redo these trees. I think originally I did the like pine trees with acacia leaves instead of the birch that we've used elsewhere throughout the park, as well as just they're not the best like looking of the trees that I've done, so I'd like to rework them and maybe even add in a couple of new species, do some new types of foliage that I now have access to that I didn't have at the beginning of the series, and like you just really try and like bring this enclosure up to date with the rest of the park. So without talking way too much, let's go ahead and get to building. I think that this enclosure is looking miles better than what we had before. I think the trees are much better. They're just a little bit taller and a little bit more dense to just really bring them up to date with how I do those types of trees now. The new trees kind of being like a mix between jungle and acacia are really, really cool and just a brand new tree type that I want to do throughout the park to just give some biodiversity into our plants. I've added these little like almost bamboo shoots. I'm not too sure about them yet, but I'm currently liking them. And then just again redoing all of the foliage throughout this enclosure, changing up how these pathways to look a little bit more like animals created them. I just really think that this enclosure has had a huge makeover and I'm really, really happy with it. So, with this one done and like looking super, super good, I want to move on to our second enclosure of the episode. And that brings us to our second ceratopsian enclosure, the Triceratops enclosure, which I think suffers from some of the same issues that the Pachyrhinosaurus enclosure did, but a little less minor. But I don't think that I honestly have enough time to do all of the Triceratops in this video and build the new dinosaur enclosure that I want to build. So I figured I'd just come over and kind of talk a little bit about what I want to do over here and kind of get some of your feedback and ideas because the biggest things that I see with this enclosure are obviously the path in here. Again, trying to phase these out just because I want to go a different direction with these. But the other thing that I'm really noticing is that it's a little bit small feeling. I think I designed this for when the Triceratops was a little bit smaller in earlier versions of the mod. So I would kind of like to maybe expand it out just a little bit, give them some more space to wander. And that led me to think about a new kind of landmark for the park. Obviously, we've had this path that comes over here for a very, very long time, and it hasn't led to anywhere yet. So I was looking at this kind of valley shape, and I was like, what can we put here? And that's when I got the idea to build a natural land bridge, kind of an archway, like a stone rock archway that kind of goes over here to serve as a landmark for the park. I think several like national parks throughout the United States have a structure like these or like have some kind of monument like this. And I think it would be really, really cool to kind of symbolize that in our national park that we have here. So I was kind of thinking just a archway kind of going across this gap. The path would take you up through here and onto the arch and then all the way up the mountain where we'll have some future builds. And I think it'll be a really, really cool addition to the sightlines, to the landscape of this area. But I just wanted to get your guys' feedback on what that would feel like and how we could tie the Triceratops enclosure into that. So yeah, just let me know down in the comments, or if you're in my Discord, shoot some ideas in the feedback channel. I would be very much appreciated. But with all that said, let's head over to where I want to put our brand new enclosure, where I am working over by the info center and have cleared out this kind of area. I really like the natural terrain, kind of like this raised portion over here, the way the land kind of curves along here. It obviously needs a lot of cleaning up to make it just a little bit like tidier, but I think we have some good opportunity to make a very natural looking enclosure with just a boundary over by the river and the rock walls between here and here. I also think that this would be a really cool location for a campsite on that ridge. And then again, this building over here still needs some work done on it. I think I have a couple of ideas, but that's probably going to come in a future episode. But what I really want to kind of consider is tying this into the info center, because the info center currently as it stands is very disconnected from the rest of the park. Like there's no path up to here. I think a big thing I want to do is maybe build some kind of like parking lot or parking structure and some kind of roadway that'll take us out to World Spawn. But we actually have to get into the park, so I think it'll connect into our park pathways around here, kind of go down this way along the enclosure so you can get a really nice view into the enclosure, and then it'll take you under this section of the building and then out towards our bridge and other sections of the park. I think that will look really, really cool once we get it all built up. But what I'm going to go do now is clean up this area, get a bit of the rock kind of outlined, and we can talk a little bit more about the specifics of this enclosure. All right, we are looking a lot more cleaned up in here. We've got all of our rock walls in, kind of defining the boundaries of this enclosure. We've got the landscape kind of shaped how I want it. So all that's really missing is some texturing on both of them. But we do actually need to finish off the enclosure part of the enclosure by building some barriers to keep in our animals. And I'm thinking just along here, we'll connect this rock wall up to that rock wall with a fence. And then along the river, I kind of want to do what we did with our Diplodocus enclosure, giving it a very natural looking border. So it's not like a built up fence, but it does keep the animals enclosed. Just a really natural thing that you can, like, maybe from the other side see over and just have a really good view of the animals. I also included this small little cave as like a nesting area. And just, yeah, I want to put a lot of little details because the animals that we are putting in here are our third ceratopsian of the episode, the Psittacosaurus, which is a new creature for the later versions of fossils and archaeology, and a creature I have never actually built an enclosure for. And I know that they are rather small, so I really want to put a few in here. 4 is just all that I had. So I want to go ahead, build some of our boundaries, and then we can get our dinosaurs in here. Whilst I build this fence, I wanted to take a moment to talk about my quote-unquote upload schedule. Just because I know that I've mentioned it in live streams and on the Discord, but I don't think I've ever directly mentioned it in one of these videos. But I try and post a new video once every 2 weeks, and sometimes I'm really good at sticking to that, and other times I fall a little bit short. And that's because I am still in school to be an engineer, so I have a lot of homework and a lot of responsibilities to do with school. So sometimes making videos does take a back burner in my priorities list, not because I don't want to, it's just that I have other priorities that I need to focus on. The other side of that too is a lot of these videos have really grown in scale since the beginning of this channel. And if you think back to even the beginning of this series, there are a couple of videos where I just leave projects half finished at the end of the episode. Like if you think back to the Pachyrhinosaurus episodes in the very beginning of the series, I left like half of their enclosure done for the next episode. But I've really tried to make a shift to getting projects done in one singular episode. And I think that has really grown the scale of these videos, but it has also led to a lot more work to produce just one video. So I hope you guys are still enjoying the series and enjoying the episodes that I do put out. And I just want to say a big, massive thank you for how patient you guys are. I know a few YouTubers with not so patient communities, but I am just truly blessed with how amazing you guys are and how supportive you are on each of the episodes. It really does mean a lot, and I just want to thank you guys so much for being an amazing community, for always like being supportive and being so patient with me. I know that sometimes it does take me a lot longer to make a video than I would totally like, and I know you all would totally like, but thank you guys so much for being amazing. I'm gonna wrap up this fence and we'll hatch in our new dinosaurs. All right, the sun's going down. I need you guys to start wiggling. So there we go. There we go. Okay, we've got wiggles on 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, how close? We're at 91. All right, come on, little guys. You guys are gonna be adorable. I can tell by the eggs. You guys are gonna be so cute. Come on. All right, we're right there. Come on, come on, come on. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. It's been so long since we've got new dinosaurs. Look at how cute they are. Oh my goodness. Look at them. Oh my goodness, those guys are so cute. They've got the little polka dots. And look at those eyes. Oh my goodness, these guys are adorable. Let's see, we got a female, we've got a male, and we've got a female. So 3 females and a male, and I think I'll probably get maybe 2 to 3 more, probably. We'll see. But I do need name suggestions down in the comments below, so please feel free to name these guys. They are absolutely adorable. Look at them. But with that said, and the sun going down, let's get into our final time lapse of the episode. I've gotten the fences in, I've gotten all of the boundaries worked out. We just need to go through and actually do what we do best, and that's finish up the terraforming with the texture, with the foliage, with all of that good stuff, and then we can call this a finished enclosure. So let's get to it. I think the enclosure is done, and the Psittacosaurs are still so adorable. I think this is a fully grown one, and they're still so small, so I definitely gave them a huge, huge enclosure, but I think it's fitting. It really does, like, look really cute with them, like, walking all around. They look adorable, and I'm pretty happy with all of the landscaping and the foliage in this one. Again, it does kind of still look a little bit different with these kind of trees, so I'm just gonna have to get used to how they, like, fit into our foliage patterns, but I think I really do enjoy it, and I really am loving this enclosure and the Psittacosaurs. If you'll notice, there are unfortunately six. Well, fortunately, there are six, but unfortunately, the way there are six is one of the Psittacosaurs accidentally suffocated in a block. I think it just grew up next to a block and then suffocated in it, and it dropped all of its bones on the ground. So I was able to analyze and get some more DNA to populate this enclosure some more with the absence of that fourth Psittacosaur. So let me know if I should put like a little grave somewhere for that unnamed Psittacosaur, because it was super sad when I just got the chat message that like Psittacosaurus suffocated or drowned or whatever it said. But it was very, very sad. But we do have six. There's an even gender split, so I will need some names down in the comments. We've got 3 males, 3 females, and they all need names for our next episode. But these guys are adorable, and I hope you guys have enjoyed the process of making this enclosure and renovating our Pachyrhinosaurus enclosure, as well as looking for the future of our Triceratops enclosure. Let me know what you all think down in the comments, and thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye!